What if sex could actually get better as you get older with just a few tweaks and by getting a lot more tuned in to pleasure? Hi everyone, I'm Barbara and this is Age Better. Thanks so much for being here. And you know what? The Age Better audience has almost doubled in the last year. So if you're new to the show, welcome. And I encourage you to check out the playlist to see if maybe there are episodes that might include topics that are of great interest to you. And then you can check them out after listening to this conversation that's coming up. I mean, we have almost 200 episodes, which is absolutely crazy. I also want to remind everyone that all episodes can be watched on YouTube if you rather watch the episode instead of just listen. So go to my channel on YouTube, which is Barbara Hannah Grufferman, and then you'll find the Age Better playlist. And take a look at the Age Better cheat sheet, our sister newsletter, which is on Substack. Lastly, if you like Age Better podcasts, and I hope you do, please follow or subscribe and leave a review. This helps other women to find Age Better more easily, so thank you for that. Absolutely, positively, lastly, if you have an idea for an episode, don't be shy about it. Send me your ideas to agebetterpodcast@gmail.com or reach out on social media. Okay, now let's talk about pleasure. We hear a lot about lifespan, health span, even joy span. In fact, last week's episode was with the delightful Dr. Carrie Burnite, who wrote the New York Times bestselling book, Joy Span. Definitely listen to that wonderful episode after this one if you missed it. But today, we're talking about sex span, how to keep pleasure, intimacy, and a darn good sex life going at every age, whatever age, any age, by being willing to be more open to the changes our bodies are going through, to reassess and tweak, and to know that pleasure is something we should all have and we all deserve. My guest is Joan Price, who has been on Age Better a few times already. Joan is one of the most trusted voices on sexuality and aging, and the author of a few really terrific books. There'll be links in the show notes to Joan's books, her website, and a whole lot more. So take a look after you listen to our conversation. She believes that sex does change as we get older. Well, of course it does, just like everything else changes. But that doesn't mean it has to disappear. No. It may just mean rethinking the old rules, maybe getting more creative, communicating more honestly, and focusing on what feels good to you now. And really what it comes down to is this one word, pleasure. Okay, everyone. Get ready to age better. Hey, Joan, welcome back to Age Better.
Well, thank you, Barbara. I'm so happy to be back with you.
Now, in preparation, Joan, for our conversation today, which is kind of going to go all over the place because this episode is part of my monthly series. It's a mini series, a 1 year, 12 months series focusing on getting Barbara ready to turn 70 at the end of this year. It's called The Road to 70.
I remember turning 70. Vaguely.
Right. So you're going to hold my hand a little and you're going to guide me along with all the other people I've had on the show once a month. It's been a great journey so far. I always learn a lot. So we're going to kind of go over quite a few things. But I just want to tell you that in preparation for this conversation, I did reread that amazing article that you were featured in, you and Mac, who is your boyfriend of, I think, 9 years now.
Yes, that's right.
Featured in the New York Times article about kind of making sure you still enjoy sex no matter what your age, basically. I mean, that's what the article was about. And since you are the country's leading expert on what you call senior sex, I call sex after 50, midlife sex, whatever age you are, of course you were featured in that, not only as an expert, but also personally, you and Mac. But then I also listened again, second time, and I listened just today when I was walking my dog. I listened to the Modern Love episode. That's the podcast from the New York Times. And it's so successful. It's just, it has a huge following. And you were interviewed by Anna, the host. And I just want to tell you that when you were on my show the first time, we did, of course, talk about grief. We talked about Robert, your husband of only 2.5 years.
Well, yes, but we were together 7 years.
And you were together, right, and everything that happened. And we did talk about it, but you went so deep in this conversation with Anna. And when you were talking with her specifically about the moment when he passed away and then what you did afterward, and everyone, there will be a link to that episode. I encourage you to listen to it. It will move you. Joan, I'm walking my dog today and I started crying because it just touched me so much, as it did everybody. Clearly touched Anna.
It did.
So let's start with that. So talk to us about your experience with the New York Times and the article and the episode. What did it mean to you?
It was absolutely amazing. And that both of those happened within a week and a half of each other. It was, I mean, 2 photo shoots over a week and a half. And well, the New York Times article was really, really lovely. The reporter interviewed me at great length and separately interviewed Mac. And we didn't know what each other had said, except that we know each other very well, but we were not present for each other's interviews by design. And then the photographer came in and wanted to capture our intimacy, however that looked, that we could have a public camera on. And it was just an amazing experience I'm used to talking out loud about senior sex. I've been doing that for 21 years, and I get very personal about it. But never before that these 2 articles, both the New York Times article and the Modern Love podcast, have I told my personal story in such depth and with such...
But like I said, like you told my audience when you were on in 2024, but we didn't go that deep. Into
exactly.
It was really unbelievable. I mean, literally brought me to tears. And I'm sure it did everybody else listening in.
And me, I was crying.
And you were crying. I think that's also
crying.
why I was, because I know you and you were, I said, oh my God, Joan's crying and I'm crying. We're all crying. Yeah, it was really incredible. And they're very different. Like the article was really focused on one thing, and then the Modern Love conversation really focused on your personal story and then how you evolved.
And my whole sex journey from start to now.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, Joan, I was really fascinated listening to your earlier days.
The cousins, go, girl. Right? The cousins. Everybody remembers the cousins. And if you don't know what I mean by the cousins, listen to the Modern Love podcast.
You got to listen to the Modern Love. Yeah. I want to segue over to what I want to talk about is Sexspan. Okay. I focus a lot, in fact, mostly on expanding your health span. I mean, that's what I really focus on, is like, what's the latest research? What are the exercises that we should all be doing at this age so we can age better? I really do focus probably 75% on the physical, things that are in our control. And so the health span, and of course, then you hope that, well, if you extend your health span, you'll also extend your lifespan. But it's really the health span I like to focus on. Then I recently interviewed an amazing gerontologist named Dr. Carrie Burnite, who wrote a New York Times bestselling book called Joy Span. So she said, hey, all this stuff about lifespan and then health span, it's like, what about joy span? Because, hey, you might be living really longer, but if you're not enjoying your life, what's the point? That's her view. And I went, that is so true. And now we're talking about today your sex span, which to me is very intertwined with joy span and health span. No question about it. So let's talk about that. Joan, from your view, what is sex span?
Sex span is the ability to enjoy sex through the different stages of your life. It's about, just as what you were talking about, joy span is quality of life. We don't want to just breathe later, many more years. We want to live fully many more years, or whatever time we have left, we want it to be full. And part of that, in my world, is to enjoy your sexuality. That doesn't mean that you'll have sex the way you did as a 20-year-old. Doesn't mean you'll have sex the way you did as a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old even. It changes. We have to make accommodations for all those changes. But if we celebrate those changes and we welcome them and we say, one of my catchphrases is, as long as this is my reality, what else can I do?
Right.
It's acceptance, but it's not doom and gloom.
Right. You're the most positive person I've met so far when it comes to enjoying sex. And it is all about acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting reality. But very often people's egos get in the way. I don't want to say maybe men more than women. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
But I think that egos can get in the way, like, oh, I have to still perform the way I used to.
I don't see that as ego. I see that as anxiety.
Oh, okay.
You see, if instead of it being, fix that, instead we say, I get that. It's anxiety. Your erections don't work the way they used to. They're not dependable, or maybe they don't happen. Does that mean you have to give up on sex? No. Does that mean you can't have sexual pleasure? Oh, no. Or, well, my vagina doesn't welcome penetration anymore. Okay, there are lots of other things you can do. First, if it's pain, we'll find out why. If it's erectile dysfunction, find out why. Get the doctors involved and say to your doctors, and I think I've taught you that medical mantra before, doctor, my sexuality is important to me. Here's what's interfering with it. Let's run the tests and find out what's going on. And if you can't help me, refer me to someone who can. That's part of it. You need to know what's going on in your body. But let's say that what is happening in your body is something to be accepted. You're not able to change that. Then what else can you do? How else can you give and receive pleasure? Doesn't mean the end to sex. It means we expand how we see good sex.
Mm-hmm. What do you think are some of the biggest maybe myths or misunderstandings that people have as they get older when it comes to sex?
I give a whole 90-minute talk on the myths about sex and aging, but I will just tell you a couple of my favorites.
Probably starting with like, ew.
Well, no. The biggest myth is
not from us, but from like other younger people. Like, oh God, my grandmother's having sex. Well, go ahead, tell us.
And to which I say, well, at what age do you plan to retire your genitals? You get to decide some things. Some things you can't decide. Other things you can. So if you look at what's going on, your reality, and you say, well, as long as this is my reality, what can I change? What else can I do? How can I build my quality of life, including building my quality of sex?
Exactly. Expanding your sex span. So what are those myths? What are some of them?
Well, one is if the old ways don't work the way they used to, then sex is over.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest one, because within that, there are so many more. If I can't have reliable erection, sex is over. If I don't lubricate naturally, sex is over. No, you just get a good lubricant. That one's easy. That one I can answer in half a sentence, but and some of the other ones are bigger. If I am single, if I'm unpartnered, sex is over. No, sex with yourself. Or I'm too old to date. If I'm single, no, you're never too old to date. I mean, gee, I'm 82 and I met my current partner just 9 years ago. I was already old. So was he. And now we're really old. That's all right. We're really old. Sometimes we laugh about it. The two of us together, one of us will say, "How old are we?" And then in unison we'll say, "We're so old." And then we laugh because part of making sex enjoyable is laughing, is having fun, finding ways to make it playful, to make it humorous, to engage in rituals. I mean, one of the favorite things for both the Modern Love podcast and especially the New York Times is the sex bell.
Yep.
Everyone remembers the sex bell.
Tell us
Everybody
about it.
asks me about the sex bell. If I had my own branded sex bell, I would.
There you go.
I know. But that would be expensive to ship. So, yeah, the sex bell. Okay. So,
yeah, tell us what it is.
Here's what it is. Mac and I have a ritual that when we have scheduled sex together, and we do schedule it, that's another thing we do as a ritual, that when it comes time, we independently will shower in our separate bathrooms. And when I'm ready, when I've got everything ready, I've got the sex baskets with the lube we want and the sex toys we want, and I've already checked that they're fully charged. The ritual starts hours before. Make sure this is ready. Make sure this is ready.
I heard about your little shelf with that's the
the charging station. Yes, it's a shelf just for sex toy charging.
Huh?
And we've got everything set up. And he is in the living room waiting for me to signal him that I'm ready. Now, this is building anticipation for him already. He's going, okay, because the signal that I'm ready for him to come to the room is that I ring the sex bell. I ring this bell that clang, 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 and he can hear it and all the way down the hall and in another room. He hears the sex bell, and it's almost like a Pavlovian response. Yes, 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 I'm coming. And that's the signal that he can come to the room where I have set everything up. And it's
very sexy.
Oh, it is sexy. It's such an erotic anticipation as we get everything ready. And when people say, but it's not spontaneous, no, it's better. Because we fantasize about what's going to happen. I make sure everything is there that I want. He has already delivered, maybe the night before, maybe in the morning, or maybe when I'm out getting my coffee, he'll sneak into the room and put the sex toy he wants to use on the charging station.
Right. That is so, so funny.
And then I see it there. I go,
so much.
Oh, he wants to use this. Cool.
I just want to add in that years ago for my first book, so going back quite a time, I interviewed Esther Perel.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she's a sex therapist. She's a therapist. I mean, she's family therapist, what have you. And it was a great interview. And one of the things, of course, that I'll never forget is that she said, especially we're talking about people who've been together for a long time, whether you're in midlife or even late 30s. But if you've been a couple for a while, you might be getting a little bored. So anyway, she said you have to schedule your sex date.
Yeah.
It's not spontaneous.
No.
That's a myth to think that sex is spontaneous. Maybe when you were 18, I don't know, 20. Hopefully at 18, you're not having too much sex, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, is that it really should be scheduled exactly like what you do, because it does build anticipation. And also, if you don't schedule it...
And it ensures it'll happen.
Exactly. Life could get in the way so easily, right? So the two of you live separately.
Yes, we do.
That's good. That keeps like a little, like separation, a little bit of mystery, yes? Or?
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes it intentional when we're together.
Yes.
It isn't the default setting. Well, of course, we're together. We live together. We don't live together.
You don't
we
live
make
together.
Dates ahead. Every week, We don't even have assumptions. Every week we schedule when I'm going to be at his house and occasionally when he's going to be at my house, usually at his, because there are other things in the city he lives in that I do. My medical appointments are there. My Pilates training is there. So I already have built in reasons to be in his city. But every day my schedule is different because I'm still working full time and have all of these medical things going on too, and all these exercise things going on, and all of the interviews and such. And some I need to be at my house, and other things I want to be at his house. So
Yeah, it
for
really does
reasons,
work.
we schedule every week. We go, okay, I'd like to come on Wednesday afternoon. Will you cook for me Wednesday? Oh, yes, I'll cook for you. And then I'll stay
I know he
over
likes to cook.
through Thursday until my Pilates training, and then I'll leave and go home after that. And so we make these arrangements.
Oh, that's really again, that's also very sexy
It's very intentional and sexy.
and keeps everything very fresh. It
Yes.
really, really is.
And while we're making those arrangements, we go, and when will we schedule? We call it our salon. I mean, we ritualize everything. It's really fun.
Oh, you
So,
call your sex night a
yes, we
salon.
call it our salon.
Lovely.
Yes.
I love that. It's almost a little code too.
When will we schedule our salon?
So what do you think that women in my age, I'm in my late 60s, as I said, I'm about to turn 70. So for women in their 60s who really might be feeling, oh, well, that part of me is over, 60s, 70s, it might be over for me. What advice would you give them? Now, I'm talking specifically now about women who have a partner, who are in a relationship. And then we'll get to women who are single in a few minutes. But for those who are in a partnership, a committed partnership, what do you say to them if they just feel like, oh, that's it, it's over?
Well, one of the questions I ask is, the times you do have sex, once you get started, do you like it? Because the answer to that really determines where that conversation is going to go. Because if she says, oh, I do, I'm just rarely in the mood, well, then I have to teach her the difference between spontaneous desire and responsive desire, which I believe we've talked about before, and you've probably talked about with other guests also, that spontaneous desire is hormone driven. We don't have those hormones. We're not fertile anymore. We don't have those hormones saying, oh, it's that time. You need to have sex now. That's what spontaneous desire is about, even though we don't intentionally think about it that way. But responsive desire is desire that comes on in response to pleasure. And to get that pleasure, you have to get started. So if the answer is yes, I like it, and we get started, but we don't do it very often, or we almost never do it, well, then scheduling sex is the next bit of information. If instead she says, no, I don't like it, I don't ever like it. Okay, is it what's going on in your body?
Right. Is it painful? Is it uncomfortable?
Well, then let's talk about other ways of having sex. Would you be open to thinking about other ways of having sex? And then, of course, I have to ask, but is your partner done with sex? No, he's always pressuring me. Oh, okay. So what is that looking like? Is there ways that you could improve your sex? Is there a way you could have better sex that you can communicate? This is what my body needs now. Let's do it this way instead. It does not arouse me anymore when we do this thing we always do. Can we do this instead? And explore on your own solo. What is it you like? What is it that would arouse you now? What is it that would bring you to orgasm now? I mean, I have women who say, I can reach orgasm alone with my vibrator, but I can't reach orgasm with my partner. Oh, well, have you tried bringing that vibrator into your
Yes, like,
sex
huh?
play? I mean, this to me sounds easy because that's something I'm used to doing. For someone who's never done that, it's a
Yeah.
huge, huge barrier.
That's a huge leap. It's a barrier and a
It
huge
is.
leap. Yeah. And because the age group we're talking about, you're right, they just may not be used to having, as you called it, like a third,
Yes.
not a third person, but a third
A
thing.
threesome.
A threesome. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. The threesome or
Yeah.
foursome. As
That's
you
right.
said also in the interview, I
Absolutely.
listened to the foursome when he has
He has
something
his
and you
too.
also have something. There's no question in my mind, and I know this personally, there's no question in my mind that sex toys are a critical ingredient of a good sex life for most of us. I'm not saying all of us, but for most of us in this age group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or can be. For people who say it takes me forever to reach orgasm. Well, what are you doing, if you don't mind my asking? And what are you not doing? Are you bringing a vibrator into it? Because the idea of a vibrator being intimidating, there's so many ways that we can look at that. And one is the way I look at it. A sex toy isn't really a toy, it's a tool. And just as we wear our reading glasses because our eyes do not work the way they did before, just as we may want to put on an ankle brace or a knee brace because we want to go
I
dancing,
got
but
one
we
of those
can't
too.
do that with the knees we have. Or just as we maybe need to use a cane
Yeah.
to hike the hills we used to, or hiking poles. We're saying with our bodies are changing and we need some assistance. Well, this is just assistance for reaching orgasm. That's all vibrators are for, reaching
Yeah.
orgasm.
You know what's so interesting to me is that I think that we're very hard on ourselves. I think we're all guilty of that sometimes in various aspects of our lives, but we think, okay, I'm doing everything right. I'm eating the right stuff. I'm doing my Pilates. I'm exercising properly. Yeah, I feel good. This is maybe when you're in your 50s. You expect that everything is because you're doing everything right, and maybe you're having sex and everything is okay, that will continue, everything will therefore stay as is. And that's a really big myth.
It is.
I mean, I'm sure you can say from experience, I know I can say from experience, now that I'm in my late 60s, life is different now than it was when I'm in my 50s. And it's what I call I reassess and tweak. So you reassess. Where are you now? Forget about then. Where are you now?
That's
And what
exactly
tools
what I
now,
talk
going back
about.
to what you were just saying, what are the tools that you now need? You may need a leg brace for a knee issue, but you may need several different kinds of vibrators or sex toys tools than you did when you were in your 50s. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Oh,
you have to
yes.
constantly reassess and tweak. And this is true of your sex life as well.
And open your mind. If the only sex toy you ever used was an electric toothbrush when you were 18 and then a magic wand when you were 30, oh, magic wands, nothing against them. They're marvelous.
We'll get back to the magic wand in 1 second.
Yeah, but if that's all you know of vibrators, then really open your mouth. Read my sex toy reviews from a senior's perspective on Joan
Or
Price.
watch the video we did when you had the show and tell of some of the best.
Well, that's a great first start, but realize that I review sex toys from a senior
Ongoing.
perspective. Ongoing, yes. And there are companies that are coming out with wonderful new toys, retailers that are always saying, Joan, from what you've liked in the past, I think you'd like this. Would you like me to send it to you to test? And there is no obligation on my part to review it. If it is not what I think my audience would like, I don't bother because everybody's busy. Nobody wants to hear about something that's just merely adequate. We want to know what is really rocking my world right now.
Right, right. I want to get back to the magic wand for 1 second. So when you were on last year and we did the show and tell and you were showing products and describing each one and why we should have this one and be like your favorites of the year, right? And the magic wand, which apparently has been around forever.
Uh-huh.
I personally
More than half my
never
life.
heard, it was never on my radar screen for some reason. I don't know why. And so, of course, after that, of course, I went and got it. Of course I did. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
What's not to like? Really? And then the other one that you also recommended, which I also got, which is different. See, that's getting back to what you're saying. It's different, is the melt.
Yes. Oh, and there's a melt too, which has come out since we talked.
No kidding.
And it's even better. Yeah, there's a review on my blog of the melt too.
Okay.
Love the melt too.
All right, I will check that out. Yeah. Everyone, you really do need to watch this episode that Joan and I did. I think it'll give you a really nice overview of like a foundation, if you will. Like the magic wand is kind of considered, I think, right, Joan? It's like the best overall vibrator.
Don't say best, because best is what an individual needs.
Okay.
But it is considered the king. It's considered the king because
big.
It just plain delivers the most powerful intensity. Now, there's some people who don't want that much intensity. That's why I stopped you from saying the best. No, some people do not want that. And some people say, yeah, but if I want to use it during sex with a partner, it takes up too much real estate. Because how does my partner's fingers even reach anything with this great big bulbous magic wand covering my vulva? So there are others that are smaller, that are more slender, that deliver in a whole different way.
So, Joan, let's get back to women who are single, like maybe single by choice, maybe divorce, or we never had a partner, or those widowed, like, that was your situation, and they've just given up on sex. Like, that's it. It's like, okay, I'm alone, I'm single, that's it, I'm done, I'm over. It's just not in my life anymore. How do we reel them back in and make them comfortable with sex, solo sex for starters, because they may or may not have a partner ultimately, but sex is really such an important part of overall health, mental and physical.
Oh, it absolutely is. And in the Ultimate Guide to Sex After 50, I have a section that it's 33 reasons that sex is good for you. And these are general health reasons and, of course, sexual reasons. They keep your genitals in good working order so that if you do have a partner in the future, and how do you know now? How do you know what's going to happen? That you'll be able to have sex. I have the story that I tell in Better Than I Ever Expected. I think it's in that book that a physician told me about, a gynecologist. She said she had a patient who was in her 70s and was sure that she would never have sex again. She had been widowed for a long time and it was over, and she didn't masturbate because what for? She was done with it. And then she met someone, and they started dating, and they started going away for weekends, and they wanted to have sex together. And she couldn't do it because she had not been, I see it as nurturing her genitals, keeping them in good working order by having frequent solo sex episodes where she brings blood flow to the genitals, which is so important. And when that stops, nothing happens. There is no arousal. And her vagina was not accepting of any kind of penetration, although she wanted to, and he wanted to. They wanted to do that, and it just didn't work. And so this doctor started working with her about using dilators and vibrators so that she could get back to sex. But before she was able, he died. The new partner died. And it's such a sad, sad story. And I don't mean it to be as this is what happens. It's only what can happen if you don't self-pleasure along the way.
Yeah. There really are so many health benefits. I know sex, I think, should be viewed first and foremost as a way to have pleasure in your life,
That's
some
right.
joy in your life. I
Yeah.
mean, I think first and foremost, and after the fertility part is over, especially. But there really are health benefits, and we know this. And
Yes.
you listed some, of
Oh, yeah.
course. Just so you know, when I aired our last episode together that talked about the sex toys, of course, we talked a little bit about some of this before we talked about the sex toys themselves. The episode right before that one, and I did this on purpose, was with Dr. Margaret Noctegal. She's a frequent guest, and we talked specifically about vaginal health. So what you need to do to get your vagina nice and healthy and ready for sex for women who are in this age range. So it's exactly what you've just been saying. Yeah, it's really so important. But you also, I'm sure, work with women and you encourage them to have solo sex, even if there is no partner,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
And plus, it feels good.
Yeah, it's like, what's not to like?
What's not to like?
It's one of those things. I mean, I just often feel it's very psychological, and I'm sure you encounter that.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
what is your background? Where were you from? What was your family like? And talking about sex or not talking about sex? Is it a religious thing? I mean, there are so many little voices, I think, in our heads when it comes to sex that can really stop you.
And I am not a therapist. So when people consult me, they often just want 1 hour with me. They want a private hour with me and do that via Zoom, where we talk about their issue right now. And so I do go into a little bit about, well, what led up to that. But given that they may want then a follow-up, or they may not. So I want to pack as much into that hour as possible and give them an action plan for getting where they want to go. So we'll talk about what's stopping them from getting what they want, what they know about what they don't know about what they want, and maybe I can help fill in the gaps, and then what's interfering with them getting that. And very often, it's just information they're lacking. They just don't know certain things.
They just don't know certain things. And I really do really believe that following you, Joan, everyone listening in, if you really don't know where to start, follow Joan. There will, of course, be links to all of that in the
Thank
show
you.
notes. So do check that out, because not only does she talk about the actual sex toys / tools, but also other things. I mean, you're interviewed, you write things, you
Yeah.
write columns. So you really share a lot of very, very important information about
Thank
women's
you.
sexuality. And it's so important, Joan. It's so
Thank you.
important. You and I are in total agreement about that. Do you think that outside views about people getting older, the ick factor perhaps that younger people might have about this conversation we're having even, plays it all into people's minds when they're having sex themselves or thinking about having sex?
Well, can if they haven't said no to that, intentionally said no to that. I mean, sure, the ick factor, the idea that, ew, wrinkly people having sex, that's disgusting. It is in our society. That
It
doesn't
is.
mean we have to swallow it. Doesn't mean that we have to sit back and go, oh, yeah, I mean, who'd want me? No, instead go, hey, wait just a minute. If you are lucky enough to get to my age, what do you think you'll look like? And at what age are you going to say, oh, no, I think I won't have sex anymore? Tell me the age that you're going to do that. I mean, challenge it. You don't have to challenge it quite as voraciously as I do, but join me in that fight against the ick factor, please.
Yeah. I mean, and that can go to all aspects of life too, as we know, the whole idea of ageism. But that's a conversation for another story.
If you're lucky, you'll get old.
Yeah, that's right. Every day is a great day,
Yeah.
especially if you have some sex toys in a basket somewhere near your bed.
And that's true.
Joan, this was as always, a great conversation. And before I have you leave to go off and maybe meet Mac, I don't know what your plans are today. I have no idea. But can you give my audience, what are your 3 top takeaways that you really want to make sure everybody remembers?
Okay, well, one is to educate yourself about the realities of aging and how it affects sex. And if I can put in a plug for my own books, please let me. One is that Naked at Our Age, the classic from 2011, has been relaunched in a new edition with new chapters. And it's creating quite a stir right now, Naked at Our Age, talking out loud about senior sex. And I hope you'll look into that. You can read about it on my website. Hope you'll order it there if you're in the United States, rather from the billionaire who does not need your money. So that number 1 is learn. Number 2, communicate. Find your words. Explore what you need and learn how to communicate that with a partner. Because if you don't ask, the answer is automatically no. And if you do ask, the answer might be yes. Third, if sex is not working for you right now, don't just say, okay, it will never work again. Look at what isn't working and why isn't it working? And what can you do instead that will work? Is that 3 things?
It is indeed. It is. I'd like to add one.
Okay.
Get the melt. Everyone, thank you. And Joan, I know that you'll be back.
Oh, you better let me come back, Barbara. This is way too much fun.
And there'll be show notes for all of this. Of course you're going to come back. We have way too much fun. I think that you need to come back soon. This is what I'd like. I'd like you to come back soon and we'll do like the 2026 to date best sex toys that you really want to make sure that we all know about. Let's do that. We need another one because it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It has.
Like you said, the melt, now there's a melt 2. We need to know that.
There's now a melt 2. And there are many other toys. And there's a new jet for penises, Hot Octopus Jet, which is a jet turbo. And the jet from many years ago was a wonderful toy for penises. And now it is so much better. Oh, my goodness. It's just been updated, modernized in an amazing way. And there is a review by Seamus McDuff, who does the male toy reviews. He has a great review on my blog right now. So there's so much to learn, so much to enjoy.
Yeah. So really everything that's important to know about you, Joan, including your books and that blog by Seamus and all the other information that we've been talking about, it's really all on your website.
JoanPrice.com. And if you subscribe to my monthly newsletter, everything new that happens each month, I put in that newsletter.
Yep.
So that's a way to keep up without thinking, I wonder, has she reviewed any sex toys in the last 2 years? Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. All right, Joe. Oh, you know what? One thing too, very interesting, is that some of the comments that we got on specifically on YouTube when we did that last video about sex toys is that a few men said, hey, are you going to do one for men's sex toys? Because the sex toys we covered were for women.
Well, let's do both next time.
So maybe we need to cover both. I think that would be very interesting. Okay. All right, Joan, you just are the best. You are the absolute best. Thank you so much.
And your audience is.
It's a great audience.
Yeah, I love your audience.
Joan, thank you. Thank you so much. And everyone, thank you for tuning in. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode of Age Better Podcast, please do a few things. First, share it with all your friends and family. Then, subscribe to Age Better wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube, so you never miss a single episode. Finally, if you have ideas for topics you want me to cover in a future episode of Age Better, send an email to agebetterpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to me on social media. Until next time, remember this: We can't control getting older, but we can control how we do it. Talk to you soon. Age Better Podcast is a proud member of the Sound Advice Network. Sound Advice, women's voices amplified.